All right. Yeah, I think, talking about the game Saturday, I thought several different things were really good. I mean, I defensively came out and played a good game, holding Notre Dame to 12 points. Outstanding effort by our guys on that side of the ball, particularly in the red zone, holding them out of the end zone. I think it was big. And then, and really all day, the negative part was third downs, just giving up too many on third down, not getting off the field, particularly on the last drive when they got the ball back with, I think maybe a little less than 8 minutes, and really just melted the whole time away. But a good effort. If you'd asked me before the game, we only give up 12, we'll have a great chance of winning. I'd say absolutely. And so I think that part was positive offensively. Just didn't have the ball enough. 45 plays, but really with that, not many big plays. We got to get more big plays, and that's kind of been an issue all year, really. So we got to do better with that, getting the big plays. But I thought we gave ourselves a chance to win it. One possession game there in the fourth quarter, and so going on the road at Notre Dame with that, I thought that was a good effort by our guys. We got to get better, obviously. Had a good practice yesterday, and working on the ways to get better and find ways to win games. So I think it's been, like I mentioned after the game, being consistent on a daily basis with our guys, and our guys bringing that kind of effort every single day. So that's where we are.
Coach Russ Brown with Kentucky today. You mentioned the offense being an issue all season. What's it going to take to get this offense going? Are you still confident that it will happen?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. I think, we certainly have players that can make the plays. For whatever reason, have not had the big plays this year like we, had last year. I think, got to kind of continue to find ways to get the ball in space to our playmakers, particularly, Tutu, finding ways to get him the ball to where he can make plays. A very explosive player, and we got to do a better job. I got to do a better job, with getting the ball in certain situations to our guys. Just for example, this weekend against Notre Dame on a lot of the first downs, loading up the box, we got to do a better job of getting the ball outside, winning in those scenarios. And we got in long yardage scenarios, a bunch of third and longs, and now where they've got their defense back and you can't get the plays down the field, you got to throw underneath. So there are several times we completed balls underneath, but you're not getting first downs because you're in such long yardage situations. So we got to do a better job with our opportunities to make plays in certain downs and situations.
Hey, Scott Cameron with the Courier Journal. Yaya Diaby kind of got obviously was limping around a little bit against Notre Dame. I know Hassan Hall went out with the shoulder injury. Just kind of, you have an injury update on those guys, and how's the team doing injury-wise after the game?
Yeah, and those guys in particular, got dinged up a little bit and left the game, and they'll be listed as day-to-day. We'll see how they go this week. They did not practice yesterday, so we'll see where we're at this week as we move forward with it. I think for the most part, everybody else it's healthy. Everybody else practiced Sunday, and so we should be good to go on the injury front with them. Really, those two guys you mentioned are probably the biggest questions.
Scott, this is Ken Spencer with WHAS 11. Just how encouraging was it, that defensive performance, and is that something that you see these guys can maybe carry on the rest of the season?
Yeah, it was extremely encouraging. Going into the Notre Dame game, everybody talked about their offensive line, and they're very impressive on the hoof when you just looked at them. And then, they're good. They're very good up front. And, they've been coming in. I think they were averaging maybe 270 a game rushing, but very encouraging on what our defense was able to do. I thought we did a good job of containing the run. They had a lot of time of possession, a lot of plays, and occupied the ball a lot. But we didn't give up the big play. I think that was huge. The huge thing in the game. A lot more contested balls, and whenever they did throw the football. So our pass defense, I thought, was a lot better, and we also, got in the backfield. What do we end up with? 4 sacks maybe in that game. So we talked about getting more pressure on quarterbacks, and so I think that goes hand in hand. You're getting pressure, a little bit more pressure. The guys are more contested in the back end, and therefore not giving up those big plays. So yeah, absolutely encouraging. to hold Notre Dame to 12 points. I mean, that's awesome. We continue to improve defensively. And I think you look at the numbers we have, I mean, even from last year, I thought last year was an improvement from the year before. This year defensively has been an improvement also. Right now, the biggest thing defensively is getting off the field on third down. I think that's probably the biggest thing. We got to do a better job on that side of the ball. Continue not to give up those big plays, but third down defense is something we got to get better at.
Scott, hey, it's Jody Demling with Cardinal Authority. Specifically on the defense, can you kind of address the cornerbacks and how their play? It seemed like they played at a much higher level the other day. I know having Clark back obviously helps the depth, but did you feel like that they played it a lot better the other day?
Yeah, I do. I think much tighter coverage instead of playing so far off, eliminating that space. We talked about that after the Georgia Tech game. And, I think Trey Clark makes a difference being out there. I think he's got the skill set that you want at corner. He's quick, he's aggressive, smart player. Thought Chandler Jones played better out there at corner as well. A little bit better, tighter coverage out there. And so it is encouraging to see. I think you tighten up that space. The window is not as large for the quarterbacks to make the throws. And, matter of fact, there was a couple of times where I thought we almost had interceptions. I mean, you're very close there, with that tight coverage. And, and I thought putting the pressure, I thought Monty Montgomery did a great job, getting in the backfield, had some big plays, pressures and sacks, and, making the quarterback get off a spot. I think that's huge there. And that helps your DBs. Again, it goes hand in hand, pass rush with the secondary play. But both corners, I thought the other night played much better, and we're going to need that as we head through the rest of the season.
Scott,
Russ Brown again.
Go ahead, Russ.
Okay, real quick. Is this just looking at it overall, not only defense, but just as a big picture with the team? Is this the kind of performance you see it as a morale boost, and is this the kind of performance that you feel can spark a turnaround for the second half of the season? What are your thoughts?
Yeah, I do. I think we thought going into the game last week, we thought we had a really good week of preparation and just really accountability type stuff we've been really harping on the last few weeks. The full buy-in on everything we're trying to do. We thought that happened, and the great thing is it translated to the field. You're in that game, and it's such a fine line from winning and losing, and it has been, and it will always be. And so you have to do the little things correctly in order to give yourself a chance to win. You can go back to last year. I mean, how many games were so close right there that we could have won or lost those games? This year, we've been on the short end of those sticks. I mean, the last 3 weeks, we've been in every one of those games. Very easily could have won those games. And so we're really close. And so we just got to continue on and doing the little things correctly, finding ways to make plays offensively and defensively, continue to get better. And so, yeah, we hope that what we did last week, we, instill a little bit of confidence and encouragement to our guys to continue on what they're doing so that we will, be able to go out there and get some big wins. I mean, that's what obviously what it's all about. And we got to continue to do those little things to make that happen.
Coach, from the Courier-Journal.
Just to kind of come off of that just a little bit, 4-game losing streak is never easy. How much as a coach do you kind of monitor your players' mental makeup throughout the week? Just not that gets the best of them.
Well, we monitor that all the time anyway. Whether you're winning 4 in a row or losing 4, it's obviously you can get discouraged if you're not coming on the winning side of things on Saturdays. But we try to focus on, where your feet are right now that day. You can't worry about past or future. You have to focus on the right now, and that's the process of going through anything, whether you're winning or losing. You have to focus on where you are right now. And that's what we really trying to harp on. It's like Sunday, we came out yesterday, having losing 4 in a row, it could be real discouraging. But our guys came out, man, it was a really good practice Sunday. I thought the focus was there. Guys went hard. I think they're eager and hungry to get some wins. But again, focusing on that one day, that's what we have to do. And that's where we are. I think our guys are doing it, and we're getting better. Our guys are getting better every single week. And, I think that eventually it's going to start showing in the win and loss column, I think. But we can't focus on that. We can't focus on the outcome. We have to surrender the outcome. We have to focus on the here and now, and that's what we've been harping on every day.
Coach, Tim Sullivan, the Courier. Watching the game on TV Saturday, it was not clear to me that that Tony Dungy understood the onside kick rule. I know I'd never seen that called before. As a coach, how familiar are you with some of these more obscure rules, and how much do you study that sort of thing just in preparation for situations like that?
Yeah, we were aware of the rule. That's one of those things where you can't hit a player unless the ball goes 10 yards, which we know that's the case. And the two things that they can review in that is, did the ball go 10 yards before we touched it, and or did you touch anybody before the ball went 10 yards? And so those are two things that is reviewable, and we knew that. It's one of those things you kind of take the chance, and a lot of it is on the kick. What happened with the kick, you want to hit it firm enough to where it goes 10 yards before we're going to get there. The ball kind of stopped at about 8 and kind of went sideways, and then it ended up going 10. But by that time, we had already hit the guy. The ball was around roughly 9 yards when we hit him. And so once I saw the replay and they went to replay, I was like, well, we're going to lose this. But, it is, some of the rules are, you don't see very often. And I think that's why a lot of the public don't understand some of those rules. And even coaches at times with rules that doesn't come into play very often. And that's one of those rules, because you don't see just a ton of onside kicks, particularly in the middle of a game. And but it was someone that was willing to weigh. And it was close. I mean, the ball went 10. We ended up getting it. We ended up hitting it a little bit early. So, but certainly I thought it was worth it. You get that ball right there. You got momentum. Maybe you go take it in for another score. And what ended up happening was you lose 5 yards. You still kick the ball off. I think they got the ball at the 34 once we went and tackled them. So to me, it's really willing to take that risk. Very close to getting it.
Are you ever surprised by a rule that maybe you don't know well?
I can't really recall. I'm sure it's happened at some point in time over the years. But I think predominantly, we understand everything that's out there that's getting called. Sometimes we don't agree with some of them, I think, but every now and again it does happen.
Thank you.
Coach Michael McCammon from Cardinal Authority, and maybe it's just me, but it seems like Malik is getting a few more calls to quarterback keepers and letting him create. Is that something that's become more of an emphasis in the play calling, or could it be something that grows as the season continues? Yeah,
I think it's something that we made a point last week for sure to get him involved in that. We've always had, the Q draw game that's up every week. That we hit a few of those in the Georgia Tech game. We ended up scoring, in the red zone on that. So that's up every week. But some of these other plays, I think Saturday we had a play where he was automatically going to keep the ball and run around the edge, and got some big plays, including the 4th down play that was huge. We ended up scoring on that drive. So we certainly want to have those plays up and running every week. I think, as teams start to try to defend offenses, if you got a quarterback that can run, just like we're going to play this week, in Florida State, they're going to run their quarterback. I think he's their leading rusher on their team. The Travis guy, he's going to carry the football, and that's part. It's hard to defend that. So now instead of playing 10 on 11, you're playing 11 on 11 football because you had to defend everybody on the field.
Scott, this is Ken again with WHAS 11. When it comes to the third downs, you kind of mentioned you guys got to get better at third down. In your offense, what is, and you mentioned getting behind the chains, what is too far in your mind for your offense where you guys are a little uncomfortable?
Well, I think anything over 10, it makes it really difficult, because if you do run a normal pattern, like for example, a curl pattern, when you catch that, you're going to be right around 10 yards, and so anything after that, you're going to have to break some tackles. If it's past the 10 yards, because most defenses will be a little bit off there, knowing that you got to get to those sticks. And if it's past those 10 yards, it's hard to run by them, anything vertical. So you have to throw something underneath, and then you got to make guys miss. You got to find a way to run after the catch. So I think anything past that, it becomes a lot more difficult. And then you start weighing, okay, do we want to run routes that are further down the field? So now you're going to have to protect longer. So now you run the risk of getting sacked. So there's just calculated risk that you got to take right there to want to get the ball out of our hands quickly. And all those things are coming into play. And, so it just makes it hard. Obviously, if you can stay within, the 3rd and 8 under, we feel like most of the routes that we throw and catch are going to be able to get those first downs.
Scott, it's Cameron from the Courier Journal. Kind of off that. I think in the game you guys had, I think you had 7 drives. I think you're behind the 6 and probably at some point 6 of them. I guess what can you guys do offensively to combat that? Obviously, I know some of them are penalties, some are loss of yards, but how do you combat that, and kind of what do you think the reasoning for that is?
Well, you're correct on that. 7 drives. 2 of those drives for sure were penalties. We had the late hit that backed us up, dead ball, which now you're 2nd and 20. I mean, that was, instead we were on a plus 40, 42-yard line on that. That was a huge penalty there. The last drive that we had, we get a penalty on them, we get a first down, and then we get a legal, not enough guys on the line of scrimmage, 5-yard penalty, and another 5. Like, you're behind, it's 1st and 20. I mean, it's hard to overcome that. And, so that's 2 of the drives right there. The other drive, we ran a reverse with 2-2, thinking we were going to be able to get some positive yards. We lose 4 yards on that. Now we're 2nd and 14. So you're almost half our drives, and only had 7 that we're way behind the stick. So to answer your question, I do a much better job on first down. This game in particular, we were not very good on first down. I think we had either 0 or 1 yard or negative yards in almost half of our first downs. And so when you're doing that, so now 2nd and 10 or longer, it makes it very difficult to try to make that ground up. So we got to do a much better job on first down so you don't put yourselves in those situations.
And a follow-up to that, as a coach, does that, when you kind of go back and look at that on film and you see the struggles on first down, does that make you rethink kind of the play calling or the script that you guys pull out for the following game?
Yeah, no question. And that starts right with me. I'm calling the plays, and first down, if they've got 9 guys all up in the middle of the field, we got to throw the ball on the outside, or we got to run something outside. I mean, there's no question about it. We can't be hard-headed and say, all right, you guys got everybody in here, but we're still going to run it right up the middle. And that's what we did way too much the other night, and that's on me. We got to do a much better job with that, seeing what the defense is in and taking what they're going to give us. That's been my philosophy for all of the years I've called plays, is taking what they give us. We got to do a better job with that.
All right, we'll take a couple more.
Scott, this is WHAS 11. When it comes to Florida State, they seem like they're a football team that has gotten a lot better from the beginning of the season to where they are now. What do you see out of them, and what's been the change?
Yeah, I think they obviously missed spring practice. We missed summer. I mean, all the things that we talked about, and he's a new coaching staff coming in, and so it takes a little bit of time, obviously, to get what you want to do, offense and defense, and kicking in the game. They have some talented players. I think, so what I saw Saturday was just those guys were playing hard, just effort. Defensively had played with great effort, offensively making a lot of plays. I think when they've inserted the quarterback, Jordan Travis in the game, going back to Jacksonville State in the second half. I mean, they've scored on about half of their offensive possessions. And, he's kind of been that spark offensively for them, and anytime you're doing that, and you got to give it scoring points, then it inspires your defense, inspires really your whole team to play a little bit harder, knowing that you got an opportunity and a chance to go get a win. And they got a big lead this past weekend against North Carolina. North Carolina made a great rally, almost came back, but they didn't, and Florida State hung on to win the game. So, they're riding high right now. They feel like they got momentum, coming up here this weekend. And so I think for all those factors, they feel like they've gone in the right direction.
Scott, hey, it's Jody Dimley again from Cardinal Authority. Obviously, the home field is so different this year everywhere, but you've been on the road for a month with that bye week in there. What would it feel like not to have to travel this week, not to have to go through all of that, and actually be home for a couple weeks?
Yeah, no, that's great for us, not have to go through all the travel things that are going on, but I think for us, it's more about going out and playing well, like, wherever we play. Our guys, again, we're eager to get back out on the field and to play and to continue to improve. And it's great that we're going to be able to play at home here for the next few weeks. And, that's been a month away. That's a long time for road games. I look at Notre Dame, where they play 4. They haven't even been on the road yet. We're in the middle of October. They hadn't had a road game. And so, for us to be able to stay at home here for the next few weeks, obviously it's welcome. We'll welcome that, is for sure.
All right, we'll go to Russ if you've got one, and Cam, you can wrap us.
Thanks. My question was I was going to ask about Florida State, so you can move on.
Okay.
All right, Cam, go ahead.
Yeah, Scott, obviously, you mentioned Ketrell Clark and Monty Montgomery. He came to Georgia, is having a good day. All transfers you got late. I know you talk a lot about in recruiting, leaving scholarships open late to add those guys. How important is that when you're trying to build depth and you're trying to rebuild a program, to have transfers come in and impact so early?
Yeah, I mean, it's nice to be able to have those scholarships available for guys that are looking for a new start, new opportunity. Certainly want to get the right ones. I think, if you're bringing someone in that, that maybe didn't play where they were at before, I mean, that's obviously not what you want. I mean, you want guys that can come in and have impact. Those guys have been really, really good for us. Cam DeGeorge, I mean, really hadn't talked a ton about him, but man, he played awesome, I thought, against Notre Dame. He did a lot of great things and played a lot. The last 2 weeks have played more and more ball and will continue to play a lot of ball for us. And he's a great kid and plays hard. Trey Clark's been a big impact for us. We obviously need him out there. So yeah, it's nice to have that luxury to be able to have some scholarships there maybe in the spring or summer, so you can maybe bring some guys in. So hopefully we'll be able to continue that trend in the future.
All right, Coach, we appreciate it. Thank you.
All right, thanks, guys.